Okay, coming up next on the agenda, we have our first fireside chat. So we're just going to bring up some chairs just in one moment. I'm very proud and excited to introduce our first speaker in our first fireside chat this morning. It's Rania Yunus. Rania is a seasoned radio presenter bringing vibrant energy to the airwaves and is the host of the morning show on Star FM. As an accomplished MC, Rania is not only a captivating voice, but also a skilled public speaking trainer. Her passion for uplifting others led her to become a motivational speaker, and she's the proud founder of Allow Your Heart to Smile. Rania is going to be in conversation with Hoor Alkhaja, who is the Senior Vice President of International Operations at Dubai's Department of Economy and Tourism. So please join me in a round of applause to welcome to stage Rania Yunus.
Thank you, Alex.
Pleasure.
A very good morning, everyone. I'm so happy to be here today among a sector and an industry that I really love. Thank you, Mona, for having me. Thank you, Amal, as well. When I was asked by Mona to moderate this panel, I thought, what is the best way to present this talk? I started taking points and writing about my stories in Dubai, my memories in Dubai. After a few minutes, I put my pen aside, and I noticed it's not about my stories in Dubai. It's about Dubai being the story. If you imagine with me the word Dubai, D-U-B-A-I. Let's take out of every letter a word talking about Dubai. From D, we could say the diverse city. U, the unstoppable city. B, breathtaking, bright city. A, the aspirational city. And I believe you all agree with me, the iconic city. So today, it's my ultimate pleasure to talk about the diverse, unstoppable, bright, breathtaking, aspirational, iconic city, Dubai. Let's start with a round of applause for Dubai. My guest, we had an interview at ATM. She told me that was one of the most beautiful interviews. So today, together, we're gonna make it a memorable interview. Are you ready? Come on, Rock, are you ready? Yes. What I know about her, wherever she goes, she holds Dubai very close to her heart, to a level where she enters any place, her heart beats and says, Dubai. Since joining in 2013 at DCTCM, she has played a key role in strategic initiatives, particularly focusing on the Asia-Pacific region, where she successfully elevated China to Dubai's fourth source. With a decade of experience, she now oversees all global source markets, aiming to position Dubai among the world's top 3 most visited destinations. She's also a proficient public speaker, representing DCTCM and promoting Dubai as a global business and leisure hub. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me, Hoor Alkhaja, the Senior Vice President and International Operations at the Dubai Corporation of Tourism and Commerce Marketing, for this panel. Good morning. Please. So, Hoor, ready for another beautiful, memorable interview?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Maya. It's great to be here.
Thank you for being with us, Hoor. Hoor, let's start and talk about the Dubai Economic Agenda, D33. So we have been hearing a lot about it. What is this agenda, and how does this agenda work to elevate tourism in Dubai?
Excellent start to the discussion, because obviously travel and tourism is one sector of the economy, so we can't talk about this sector without speaking about the overall economy. So His Highness launched the D33 agenda, which is Dubai's vision for the next 10 years until 2033, to basically double the GDP of the Emirate in the next 10 years. People wonder why D33 was chosen. It's because the year 2033 will mark the 200th anniversary of the Maktoum family ruling Dubai. So it's the perfect kind of vision to head towards, and to basically spearhead mobilize the entire city and the entire economy to work towards that. So the vision has various pillars. It looks, if you want to double the GDP, you're going to have to work across various pillars in the economy. So we have pillars on manufacturing, on logistics, on financial markets. So various topics that I'm not the expert to speak on. However, tourism is one of those pillars, one of the key pillars. And the goal is to make Dubai one of the top 3 most visited cities in the world by 2033. And it all fits very nicely into the economic agenda, because when you want to be the best city in the world for people to visit, to live, and to work in, tourism, hospitality, it's always the first touch point. Anyone who wants to invest somewhere, anyone who wants to, set up a base somewhere, the first thing they're going to do is to come and visit. So we see ourselves as the first touch point to this very important story. And I think we've already, the entire city's already been mobilized, public and private sector working towards it. We've already seen great progress. This was a great year for Dubai's economy. There was a 3.2% increase in the GDP in the first half of the year compared to the year before. So I think we're well on our way to achieve His Highness's vision.
Beautiful. Aiming to be the top 3 destination, among the top 3 destinations in the world. As well, you have 12.4 million visitors from January till September this year. And this is a huge number, agree? It is indeed a huge number. So what can we say about the tourism sector now? And where is it now? How far is it from the top 3? So
if we look at the numbers, you're absolutely right. We had 12.4 million visitors visit Dubai from January to September 2023. We're expecting the October figures to come in soon. Now, when we compare this to the same period, Jan to September in 2019, at that time we had around 12.08, I want to say. So we're already kind of past what we call pre-pandemic figures. So we don't even talk about like the pandemic and 2022. Yeah. It's more like, okay, we're surpassing 2019 now. So I think it's been a very healthy year, and in true Dubai spirit, whenever things are going great, it's, there's always a push to do yes. better. It's also, we'll speak a little bit more down the discussion about all the hospitality metrics as well. It's been a great year for hospitality, which I'm sure many people in this room will be attuned to. And generally, I mean, I'll just anecdotally, everyone's complaining about the traffic. My husband's a businessman, he complains about the traffic.
That's a good sign. That's a
good problem
yes.
to have, that's a very good problem to have. So, the city's alive, it's buzzing. We're at the, we're a day or two away from the COP28. We've had some major, other than the COP, which obviously we're all very much looking forward to. We've had one of the best years as well for events in general. So yes. One of the best Gulf food turnouts, I think over 130,000 people. Same for GITEX, 170,000 people. So it's really, you see the vision in translation, and the travel, tourism, and hospitality sector in Dubai has been in a great space.
Since you mentioned COP28, I was at COP yesterday. Wow. So I'm sure one more time, Dubai will amaze the world with this huge event. The way you're preparing for COP, the way Dubai is welcoming and the UAE is welcoming as well, all the delegations from all around the world in such a vibrant, beautiful, positive place, which is Expo Dubai, where all of us had amazing memories. Since we mentioned COP28, Hoor, how are you preparing for the high level of rooms for COP28, the booking, and the big number of people reaching Dubai? And as well, what do you want from hotels at this stage? How do you want hotels to react and to act at this moment?
That's an excellent question. Maybe I'll break it down into two answers.
Please.
So when it comes to the COP, obviously the UAE and Dubai is geared up to host this event. I want to say it's not our first rodeo. Yes, it's a huge political global event of such a massive scale and very important nature with a very important topic. It is also the year of sustainability in the UAE, so it's just everything is falling into place in that sense, and we're very proud of the achievement, and we know that Dubai and the UAE will deliver in the fashion that we always deliver, and deliver results as well. When it comes to gearing up towards massive events, whether it was Expo before or the COP, or even when we have different events that are happening across the city, if I were to speak about the expectation of the support from the industry, I'm not a commercial background, so I'm sure the experts here in this room will school me on the commercial practices that take place in that sense. When it comes to COP specifically, I think there was a massive effort of great display of public and private partnership when it came to whether it was the COP team or ourselves as the mediators in terms of DET, speaking to the industry about the expectations. Now the COP is not a regular event. It's an event that is inclusive. It includes everywhere from like heads of state to volunteers and students and indigenous people, and the idea was to have an accessible COP for everyone. And nobody's more geared to do that than Dubai. We have over 815 hotel establishments across all the star categories, and we are, and in key areas across the city. I mean, going from Dera to Expo and the metro probably take you like 45 minutes to an hour, so it's super, super accessible. COP has been held in the past in some quite challenging locations, which are not as accessible as Dubai, right? So the idea was to work closely with the industry to understand the expectations for the COP, making sure that all the supply of rooms are accessible to those categories that need that certain level of accessibility. I think that work was done, that's in the past. That work was done, we got there. We're gonna be welcoming a delegation of over 70,000 people in the next few days. And I think that discourse and that spirit of collaboration has always been there. Now that's the COP in specific. If we're going to talk about generally, when we look at supply and demand, when it comes to hosting of massive global events, things happening, if there's a sports tournament, if there's a huge business conference, things like GITEX going on, right? Obviously, the rules of supply and demand will always apply. So there's always this very basic, notion that there's going to be huge demand, so the supply will react and we'll always see a 10% hike in regular prices for a given period, right? That's totally expected, and it's obviously what the market expects to see. What I do know is that, since we're maturing as an industry, since we're maturing as a city, one of the things we study, because we don't sell anything, as the tourism board, we don't sell anything, but we study the patterns of behavior. We all know that when people are looking to come visit the city for an event or for any kind of reason, leisure, business, whatnot, it doesn't start with the booking. It starts way before the booking. There's an entire process for search, for consideration across different platforms, whether they're looking on Instagram, whether they're going online, whether they're speaking to their travel agent. So we monitor this. We monitor this across all global source markets, and it's different for every market. It's different. The lead times are different. The type of customer, families have different searching patterns than businessmen. So what we want to ensure is that we catch those customers at an early enough lead time, and that Dubai is looking competitive at that time. Because if I'm going to be marketing to people who are already know that they're going to come, you know, and I've lost like someone 6 months prior who's chose another destination because of, you know, more competitive pricing or just more appealing packages, then, you know, I'm talking to the wrong target audience. I want incrementality. I want to talk to people who were maybe not considering coming to Dubai, but then saw that positioning to be appealing. So I think that's kind of the mindset as an industry that we're going towards, that we're not trying to catch that last-minute booker. Yes, obviously there is a market for that, and it's great to yield on that, but we're trying to catch people way early on in the decision-making funnel to ensure that, you know, we are competitive and we push that incrementality, and then it will benefit the entire city as a whole, including the hospitality industry. So that's kind of the mindset for events as a whole.
So how do you want the hospitality sector to support this mindset?
I think they
are all here today.
So they've already been supporting it. You know, I mean, the COP itself was a huge testament to that. There was a lot of work done in the background. I'm sure many of you were in touch through our stakeholders team and who were liaising with the appointed COP travel agency, making sure we have the right room block rates, making sure we have the right access to the, one of the things Dubai does really well, and I'm not just talking about the hospitality industry, I'm talking about maybe all industries, is that the level of public and private partnership is very high. Even, you know, when it comes to things like D33, right? We as a city, we can't achieve the D33 by ourselves, right? If you're talking about manufacturing, logistics, financial markets, pharmaceuticals, medicine, hospitals, better schools, right? These include, you know, various partners across private and public sector. So His Highness sets the vision, and then everyone else, you know, for their own benefit and their own interest, which in turn serves the interest of the city, everyone kind of, you know, joins that bandwagon, and that's one of the beautiful things about the city. You know, you don't have to convince people. The vision itself is convincing, and everyone wants a piece of that pie, and the whole thing just fits together, right? So I think that's one thing we already do very well. But as we mature more as an industry, you know, for hospitality in particular, for tourism, that's one of our commitments to the people in this room and the people in the sector, that we're gonna try to do better in that space as well. We already have a lot of open channels in terms of, you know, all the hotel committees, the discourse that we have. We take in all the feedback, we apply that, and we're going to continue expanding those channels, because we're not in this alone, and we're not here to tell people what to do. You know, the experts are here. We need to hear from them as well.
Yeah, and we believe in Dubai's vision as well. And you know, Hoor, I was on a conversation last week with people from the industry. We were talking about seeing every hotel in the world in Dubai. Now, how can we see Dubai in every hotel in the world? So how are you working with Emirati workforce to see Dubai in every hotel?
That's a wonderful question. So so obviously when we look at D33, one of the ways to achieve this vision is to attract the best global talent in the world, you know. So you're going to have here a base of, you know, we're encouraging people to move here, to live here, to work here, to set up business here, to invest here. We're going to have a base, or we already have a base, but we're going to grow that base of extremely talented, you know, individuals from all walks of life, right? And to ensure that, you know, we're also, you know, looking at this Dubai society itself, Emiratis are a big part of that. So we anticipate that in the next 10 years, there'll be around 70,000 or 60 to 70,000 Emiratis entering the workforce in these 10 years, right? So the idea is you don't want them to just be on par with the global talent that's coming in. You want them to be competitive, to compete, and to overachieve that. So obviously, one of the key pillars of the D33 is how do we foster that? How do we foster the education of the Emiratis who are going to enter the workforce in this time? How do you make them competitive, not to a local scale, to a global scale, because that's what they're going to be competing with. And the answer to that is that we also have to ensure that they are participating in the private sector, of which the tourism and hospitality sector is a huge one. So there's a lot of initiatives already happening. There'll be more stuff down the line. Obviously, there's a 10-year journey of which education plays a big role. But maybe I'll mention two initiatives particular to, one is general, one is particular to hospitality. So there's a federal program called NAFIS. It's a federal initiative that aims to bridge that gap between Emiratis who want to enter the private sector. So whether it's matching profiles or whether it's subsidizing, maybe there is a certain expectation of a pay level that the private sector is not able to provide, then they subsidize that amount, whether it's upskilling, because it's not just about getting them into the industry and then letting them be, right? It's about continuous upskilling. So NAFIS is very active on this front across various sectors. Then we have our own initiatives for tourism and hospitality specifically. As part of the Dubai College of Tourism, we have a program called Midyaf, which is, again, heavily focused on training Emiratis, particularly within hospitality and tourism, and having them in these front-facing, tourist-facing jobs, whether it's, the front desks, within the hotels. I'm sure many of you know Jeff, who's here in the front row, works very closely with everyone in the room to ensure that programs like this are scalable and that we have multiple Emiratis joining the travel and tourism industry, as ambassadors to the city itself.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for sharing this. Hoor, throughout your career and with passion, you managed to put China among the top 5 markets. What are the top 5 markets today for Dubai? And how are you sending or communicating Dubai's messages other than to these top 5?
So the top 5 markets are well known. Maybe they jump up and down the list. You have India, KSA, China was up there before. Now the air capacity is coming back.
Okay.
But I think the most important thing Dubai has always done pre-pandemic, but it helped us especially during the pandemic, and it continues to help us now, is that we never ever relied on 5 or 10 or even 20 source markets. We've always adopted an extremely diversified approach. Because we believe the city has something for everyone across all the pillars and across different budgetary requirements, whether you're looking for an uber luxury, 7-star holiday, or you want to, go to Mina Bazaar and enjoy street food and stay in like a really nice 3-star hotel, which is probably equivalent to a 5-star in Europe. So we cater to everyone. And so we believe that we are able to speak to everyone. And also, we have 200 nationalities living here.
Yeah.
So why can't we target all of these nationalities to come and visit, right? So we have an extremely diversified market approach where we cover all continents, all source markets, minus Antarctica maybe. And we continue to build on that. It really helped us during COVID inadvertently, when a lot of source markets were not open for travel, for global travel yet, when we had air capacity not coming back online. So certain markets covered for others. And in the last 2 years, we actually entered even more markets. So we entered a lot of new CIS markets. We went into markets like Turkey that we hadn't particularly been active in before, markets like Pakistan that we hadn't particularly been active in before. So we're always expanding the base. Our biggest base comes from GCC and MENA at around 29%, followed by Western Europe, followed by South Asia, followed by Eastern Europe, Russia, and CIS. So really, it's an extremely diversified approach. Obviously, we're active in Australia and New Zealand as well, and you'll see us active whether it's through partnerships globally, or we have over 3,000 travel trade partners, airline partners, bank partners globally, or through digital marketing, where the base is even larger. I think when we talk about digital, we're active in over 80 markets.
Yes, beautiful. Hoor, it's always great talking to you, and of course, I'm sure we have too many questions to discuss today. I'm reaching my last question. Today, when we talk about hotels, we definitely talk about loyalty. In many hotels, people go back to this chain, to this hotel, all over the world. How can you work with the hotels as well to create destination loyalty? Destination for Dubai, so people will go back not only to the hotel in Dubai, but as well to Dubai on a yearly basis, on a seasonal basis.
This is an excellent question. It goes back to the strength of the public and private partnership in Dubai in general and hospitality in particular, right? First and foremost, a lot of the hotel establishments here, we have over 815 now. A lot of them are destinations in and of themselves. Like seriously, as residents here, we get FOMO that we don't get to experience most of them, or we have to take like staycations and stay in a lot of them. So a lot of the properties are icons in and of themselves, and they do a wonderful job. We actually go to learn from them as well. What are they doing to work on that loyal customer base and encourage that repeat visitation, right? Now, in terms of things that we do together, there's a lot of things that, again, other than the discourse that is always open and fluid, and taking in, there's been a lot of joint activities, I would say, that have been taking place between the private and public sector here that feed exactly into this. So maybe I'll give maybe 3 examples. So one, we've recently started, instead of us, let's talk about the summer, for example. When we talk about summer, we're competing with massive destinations globally that maybe don't have some of the challenges that we do have in the summer. Yes, we have a lot of pros in the summer where we can push messages like affordable luxury, but we have things that work against us as well, like the weather or other kind of things to consider, right? However, we do have a strong proposition nevertheless, and we are competitive nevertheless. We are a year-round destination. And so instead of us as DET, which we used to do in the past, go out by ourselves every summer and work on our 80 markets and our global marketing efforts to try to convince people to come to Dubai in the summer, and then obviously everyone here is doing the same because they want to fill their properties and they want to fill their rooms. We said, okay, let's do it together. So we came up in the last year with a joint kind of tagline, which we called Kids Go Free. It was our tagline for last summer, and we invited. By the way, the tagline didn't come up from us. It came up from an initial discussion and workshops with the hotels to basically agree on what would be the right tagline, because they would know their customers more than us as well, right? Yeah. So we came up with a unified tagline. We went out on a massive global push with the partner hotels to have a unified message. This is what Dubai is pushing in the summer. And after we concluded that campaign for last summer, we took the learnings and we learned a lot. And we learned, one of the things we learned was that, for example, yes, the Kids Go Free segment is huge, but there is a huge segment that actually traveled to Dubai as couples last summer, and we didn't quite talk to them maybe globally. And so we're adding that input now for the campaign that's about to come up now. So working on these massive kind of city-led, but industry really led, it's not really city-led, it's industry-led efforts, together, that's one of the things that we'll continue pushing harder, maybe not just for the summer, maybe for other campaigns as well.
Now for winter, أحلى شتاء في العالم.
Yes,
this is as well another beautiful campaign.
And maybe because of time, maybe I'll just say 1 point instead of 2. Another massive, because it's the year of sustainability, because it's the COP happening right now, one of the major partnerships that we've had with the hotel industry has been on sustainability. So we launched the Dubai Sustainable Tourism Strategy a couple of years ago. It has the Dubai Sustainable Stamp, where we encourage the hospitality industry to adopt, certain sustainable measures. All of these are measured, we have a carbon calculator, they're measured in real time, and everyone is working on their own, as a global citizen, we all have a responsibility, not just to institutions, not just to the city, but to ourselves and to the world. So everyone's working towards that, and we'll continue to work hand in hand with the industry on, whether it's marketing initiatives, sustainability initiatives, just making this place a better place to live and be for everyone. Well, you'll see us reaching out more often and collaborating and taking your inputs, because again, we learn from you. We don't do this alone. So you'll be seeing more of that as we go along.
Thank you so much, Hoor. I trust that was a great morning conversation. In 2 days, COP28 will open the gates for the whole world to be here in Dubai. And I'm sure Dubai before COP will not be the same as Dubai after COP28. And it will amaze the world one more time, the same way Dubai did at Expo 2020. Thank you so much, Hoor Alkhaja. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much to Rania and Hoor. It's a pleasure to be listening to that discussion. Thank you.